Good morning, gentlemen and fellow explorers. It's good to see you all here on June 19th, 2010. And this is going to be the first of our scientific briefings today, this morning. And first I would like to thank our imaginative and creative leader, Gus Grabscheid. And I would like to thank Dario on the scientific expedition and cinematographer Arthur Salons. And as you all know, we are going to begin our day with our first search for Buenaventura, the city that's been in legend up to last week when Dario and Gus actually and Professor Juan Acosta came across in the Seville archives a document from the Spanish government showing that they did have a charter to create this city. So it does exist. So we've just started and we know that officially it does exist. It is now our job just to find it. And that's a pretty big goal to go for, but we can do it. So at this time I would like to introduce the man who has been so gracious to invite us here on this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity from the Museum of Dominican Man, Professor Juan Acosta.
Rodriguez Acosta. Thank you.
Thank you.
La Buenaventura have been in the mind of everybody, as David said, and not enough has been done to find this gold city. But as I was saying yesterday, that was before you got here. Later, they also found, as they founded Santo Domingo, they also founded La Buenaventura around following this river here, Jaina, which is the river that we're going to see today, going all the way up to here, about this point. It's called Madrigal today. We have a map here from 1776. Here, research and found, and you have a copy of that, the handouts that we gave you. That is from 1776, where at that time, this river was still, could be navigated. Nowadays, it has shrunk. It's small, but at the time, the idea was to take the gold from this major gold point to here and then to Spain. And also in this point here, they developed the biggest sugar mills of the 16th century. So that was a very important point of sending all the stuff from here to Spain. We have documentation, and the early documentation that now we have, the Archivo General de Indias, was obtained by Dario. And the interesting thing about this document is that it clearly states that Buenaventura was in the system by 1502-09, and they were sending this smelter. He was going to be, and he was giving license to build his own house and the ones that accompany him. So we have a very good document from our expedition now that talks about the Buenaventura. We have other documents that have been published in some of the books where it shows Buenaventura by 1517, but it just shows Buenaventura among the first villages. But then it has disappeared from sight, and we never knew like when it stopped operating. Later, we recently discovered another map that was done in 1858, and then it shows Buenaventura right in that point that I show you there, here in Madrigal, and then it describes the ruins. It says that La Buenaventura, it shows the location and it gives you the coordinates, was located in the intersection of Madrigal River and Jaina, in that intersection, which is right here. Today, the Madrigal River, or it was a little, you call smaller river? Stream, little stream, has disappeared. But now we have a small settlement. Some people live there now. But to our surprise, so that was one mention, and it clearly described that is right there in that intersection. So we found a description that was done in 1899 that also mentioned that it was located there. And it talks about what was there then. And they talk about a fortress with 12 cannons. So that were already being buried, this was 1899, by the bushes and trees. Everybody seemed to know where the Buenaventura was, but nobody knows. Yes.
Do we expect that there were any stone structures in this village?
Yes. As a matter of fact, the fortress and the smelting place was built, was described to have been built out of brick and rock.
So they expected it to be permanent, not a temporary settlement.
Oh yes, it's permanent. And it's so permanent that that document that Gals and the Rio have give instructions by the king for a specialist to settle and work with that smelting place as well as the other ones that were in the surrounding areas.
And what are the chances that the current town of Madrigal was built on top of the ruins?
That's a pretty good, that's a very good observation, because many times that's the case. Even from prehistoric times, for some reason, the ideal settlements are always on top of the previous one. So we're going to be looking for some characteristics like that too, where we're going to be going, because they have something very valuable there to protect, because they were melting not only the local gold, but also the gold of the major mines that were in Cotuí and Bonao and all this area. It was brought there to be transported down. That's why the proximity of the Jaina River was crucial for the foundation of that village. No, just one more. We're going to cross again. ¿Verdad, niño? Que hay que cruzar ahí mismo. ¿Qué distancia queda? Pero no queda muy lejos.
Yeah, that's why I got the cane here, so I don't. The last thing
Tony, I have the pin pointer if you need it.
Memorable.
You have a face here.
Dale todo lo que tiene.
David,
Ese huequito.
David,
Yeah.
come here. You'll see something amazing.
Come and see.
Come and see, all of you. Look at came
I
out
wanted
now.
to give an explanation to the rock art
Right.
and how the antiquity that we have.
Look what came out now.
Mickey Mouse.
You won't believe it, David.
Look what we got.
You don't.
Picture 1A.
You wanna? This camera is not that good. You just want
Doesn't
it
matter
for-
as long as we have, no, we take other pictures too.
Yeah.
It's not the only
I
thing.
took a very
But just for the GPS.
We have a previous group the Taino called Mayakoy. The name comes from a Mayak in Haiti. That was the first site with that was reported with our culture different than the Taino.
And that's about 1000 BC.
And that's from 3000 AD to 900 AD. 600. No, AD.
No,
We haven't gotten to 3000 AD yet.
Huh?
We haven't gotten to 3000 AD.
We
you
wouldn't
believe
know.
it to be very,
Very
predated.
ancient, and how we have to know more is by finding what's around, what's associated with it. Then we would know. Finding other objects that would probably give us the name of what group was here.
Somos un grupo de hermanos. Que nuestro corazón, Señor, se incline, Dios mío, con una sola masa de lo que andamos buscando. Que tú nos bendigas en este día. A todos, Señor. Tú eres el dueño del oro y la plata.
That you are the
Tú eres el dueño, Señor, de todo el metal.
You are the owner of all metal,
Señor Jesús,
Jesus.
necesitamos, Señor, que tú derrame tu bendición sobre nosotros.
We need your blessing
En este día,
this day.
sabemos que tú eres Dios,
We know you are
el Dios todopoderoso.
the all-powerful
Señor Jesús,
Jesus.
vamos a hollar en este lugar, vamos a buscar, Señor, y que
We're gonna
tú
dig
nos ilumines
and look and please
tu bendición
enlighten us.
en este lugar
Give us your blessing
y que nos cuide, Dios mío, con las corazas de la unción de tu Espíritu.
and take care of us with all the force of your
Señor
spirit.
Jesús, queremos tu bendición.
We want your blessing.
Tú eres el dueño del oro y la plata.
You are the owner of gold and silver. You know there are other
Queremos que nos bendiga con tu divino oro que tú tienes, que tú es que lo has hecho.
blessed us with the divine gold.
Que tú nos bendigas con ese oro. Tú no vas a hacer nada con ese oro, Señor, solamente tú lo has hecho para nosotros.
You're not doing anything.
Necesitamos ese
you know,
oro que tú hiciste,
We
Padre,
need
que está
that
en este
gold.
lugar.
You're not going to do anything
Ponlo
with
en nuestra
it.
mano.
It's for us. Put
Nos
it in our
declaramos
hands.
en este día, Señor, lo declaramos en nuestra mano.
We declare that we have it in
Nos
our hands.
declaramos en nuestra mano, Señor.
It's in our hands.
Padre, para la honra de tu gloria. Señor Jesús,
Señor Jesús.
que tú honres, Dios mío, y ponga, Dios mío, estos hermanos en alto, que no son de este país, que tú los cuides, que
Take
nada
care of
pueda
this-
tocarle.
of these people that are from other country.
Te lo pido ahora en el nombre de Jesús.
Put all
Amén.
the angels in church. Amen.
Ya podemos trabajar.
No, Entonces,
Okay,
te
who is
digo.
Okay, thank you.
Now, you got a special setting on there for nuggets, Wally. You should have read up on that. What?
That's what I had it set on. Yesterday it was too sensitive.
Oh, that's a lot of
What
digging.
number did you set it on?
You guys are very brave, sitting in the water.
Why? Why? What's in the water, Gus?
¿Te lo voy a echar? No, pero mira, allá donde está la vaina de la Porque.
It's good to see you all here on June 19th, 2010. And this is going to be the first of our scientific briefings today, this morning. And first I would like to thank our imaginative and creative leader, Gus Grabscheid. And I would like to thank Dario on the scientific expedition and cinematographer. They did have a charter to create this city, so it does exist. So we've just started, and we know that officially it does exist. It is now our job just to find it, and that's a pretty big goal to go for. But we can do it. So at this time, I would like to introduce the man who has been so gracious to invite us here on this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Okay. Good morning, gentlemen and fellow explorers. And as you all know, we are going to begin our day with our first search for Buenaventura, the city that's been in legend up to last week when Dario and Gus actually and Professor Juan Acosta came across in the Seville archives a document from the Spanish government showing that unity from the Museum of Dominican Man, Professor Juan Acosta.
Rodriguez Acosta. Thank you.
Thank you.
La Buenaventura have been in the mind of everybody, as David said, and not enough has been done to find this gold city, but as I was saying yesterday,